So Ian, obviously it's very busy, everyone coming in and out at the moment. What can people expect on the sort of a tour of this event?
On the tour of this event, you come through the admissions building and then you kind of into the kind of big grassy area, but it's actually nestled in amongst big plantings that sit just outside of it. So we've consciously created the garden around this event to accommodate everybody that comes in. So just onto the left as you come in, if you want to kind of cook coffee and listen to some gentle music and have a sip whilst you get over the journey in, you're more than welcome to. And then you progress down, you come across the plant nurseries. It is all about kind of plants, so we lead off with that. There's 33 nurseries, some of which do the Chelsea, the Hampton Court Flower Show, so these are professional growers. And they kind of take you around the circumference of it all, and if once you sort of spend enough on all of that, you can actually buy some sundry items. So trowel or secateurs that you kind of lost in your garden, you can replace. Ornaments, seats, all sorts of things actually you can kind of get here. You can basically reclad your garden in August. But yeah, once you've sort of done the show and you've kind of taken in further music that we have up the other end, you can actually just meander off into the kind of the true hilltop garden, the bit that's here every single day of the year, and kind of just get away from the crowd and the bustle, still pick up the atmosphere. We've got about 40 acres of garden similar to what we're standing in here, as well as another 315 acres of farmland and meadowland that radiates around this garden. So there's plenty of space and place. You can go, you can reflect, you can take a moment, as well as come into the hub and enjoy.
What's the building up at the top of the hill?
Well, we've got a cluster of buildings up there. One is the old historical farmhouse, which is our main admin floor and library, restroom, volunteers, meetings rooms downstairs. We've got the curatorial kind of rooms in the courtyard that used to be the old cow sheds.
Okay.
That's their messing and office facilities. And then the modern side of the farmyard that was redeveloped back in 2015 onward is a big restaurant with toilets and then also an exhibition room. That today is extra catering because of the sheer volume of people. And in amongst that there's also the old thatch barn, which was the old grain barn, historically about 17th century. That's operating as a kind of a catering flex up, flex down tea room at the moment. So yeah. So there's lots. That sits in the hub and everything else.
Yeah, the lead up to those buildings, because it's quite a hill and it's quite a dry area up there, so it must be difficult to plant that area.
Well, we actually have been playing around with this for a good number of years. The plant collection since the RHS took over has flexed to much more robust plants that will grow in Essex clay on this strange hill that takes the sea breezes. You know, we have a very low level of rainfall, anywhere between 500 to 600 mil per calendar year. And we've been playing around on the dry garden with lots of stuff from sort of Mediterranean, California, Arizona. There's a few cactus on there starting to kind of come in. And the idea about that is it exists solely off of the Essex rainfall that we get here. We might water it in when we plant it for about 6 to 8 weeks, but after that it is then on its own.
Okay.
So it might be storage organs, low growth, furry growth, silver growth, thick resinous snap, lots of seedlings getting produced to kind of keep the plant type going.
Yeah.
But the dry garden has been phenomenally successful and shows you that you can actually plant up a space, give it a little bit of water to start it off, but after that, plants are amazing.
But it's about designing it with that in mind.
Absolutely.
Because, I mean, Norfolk, Suffolk and Essex are getting predominantly drier and drier, aren't they, with climate changes. So I think everyone's going to have to look at this because water isn't going to be that abundant in the future.
No.
So we've got to look at planting with that in mind.
I think so. We also have to be careful though that, you know, on that we did a lot of work with extra drainage, believe it or not, under the ground. They can cope with the heat, they can cope with the cold. They can't cope with cold and wet together, which tends to be our winter.
Oh, right.
So you've got to take one component out, and that's the excessive moisture.
Yeah.
So we make it really rapid draining, which you would think is a little bit against intuition when you come into the summer, but the stuff's adapted to grow that way.
Yeah.
So that is what we've done. It's been an amazingly successful area.
Excellent. And haven't you got a big lake, a massive lake down the right-hand side?
We
as well?
we have a lake. It's reasonably sizable. It's kind of become slightly more naturalistic as we haven't quite recruited the staff or been able to recruit the staff over the years.
Okay.
To ornament it.
Yeah.
It will be in time as we slowly but surely push on the fringes of the garden. But that's also one of those areas where it'll be ornamental this end and wilder up the far end.
Okay.
So it will make that transition across as we go out into the landscape, essentially.
Yeah.
This garden, you've got to think of it as a wheel. We've got the high-level ornamental horticulture in the middle, on top of the hill. As it radiates down, we then kind of go to the more sort of naturalising species like grasses and briar roses in big numbers, and it drifts out into the landscape and the landscape in. So it's a garden that kind of blends on all of its edges.
Excellent.
And just encourages you to go and explore and have a great day.
Fantastic. Well, it's very, very insightful. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Best of luck. Bye-bye.